show about? I say, well, it's about an hour. It's about guitars, guitar players, guitar playing, and all things guitaristic. So here's the deal. If you want to call me on the show and ask me a question about your guitar, the care and feeding of your guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you. Sorry, I look at myself at the monitor. If you want to talk about how to play the guitar, whatever. If you want to talk about some related topic like the guitarrón, the cítara, the lute, the oud, the vihuela, banjos, balalaikas, bajos, sextos, bazookies. You want to talk about cavaquinhos, tiples, mandoras, mandolins, mandocellos. You want to talk about tres, cuatros. You want to talk about Sorry, something went bump in the night. Kaboom! Sorry, we're in the studio. I have a coffee house upstairs. I don't know what they're doing. I think they're
some big cups of coffee.
Really big cups of coffee. I thought they were dismantling the piano with a sledgehammer or something. But anyway, if you want to talk about anything musical, saxophones, sax, butts, crumb horns, cordholts, cornetos. You want to talk about clarinets or clavinets, clavinovas, clavichords. If you want to talk about trombones, trombomarinas, pipe organs, piccolos. You want to talk about, give it a name. Politics, world events, your own personality problems. That's fine. We're here for you, but keep it clean. This is a family show. All right, so what are we doing here? Well, I know what we were doing.
Speaking of things that go thump upstairs, we will be up there next week.
That's right. We're going to be up next week. We're going to go up to and do a Tom's Guitar Show from Uptown Bill's Coffee House.
So if people want to see this masterpiece put together.
That's right. You see what we're really like, huh? One guy told me that he saw me in public. I was a lot taller than he thought I was, because I guess at home I'm only like that tall,
Right.
And I'm actually like normal size. I'm slightly above average, but in every way. We're going to be upstairs, and I guess Bob, you're gonna.
Bill's Coffee House.
That's right.
Corner South Dubuque and Lafayette.
That's right. Right by the tracks, down by the tracks. Easy to find. Very easy to find. Just go down South Dubuque Street a few blocks from the Burlington, and there you are, right by the tracks. Uptown Bill's Coffee House, and then if you want to, you can stop over at the Public Access PATV, and you can become a producer yourself, I suppose. You have your own show.
Last Tuesday of the month.
That's right. Last Tuesday. That's coming.
Black.
That's right. Oh man, last Tuesday of July is next week.
Yep.
What if it'll cool off in August? Anyway, yeah. We'll be there. You'll be there, won't you?
As far as I know.
I always hope.
It's the Lord willing, the creek don't rise.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I hope so. I would depend on you to read something, some words of wisdom or something, perhaps, as you often do. So
We'll see what I can find this week.
okay, well, yeah, you go right ahead. I found things I think of forwarding to you, but you always do such a good job of finding your own stuff. I mean, I sometimes
If you have something you'd like me to read, go ahead and send it. I'll read that.
One thing I found was a website that said Letters of Note, and they're letters written by famous people, and I have not yet begun to really delve into them, but I've read a few.
I was looking through a list of rejection notices to famous authors.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Books that are pretty well classic now that were rejected by the first, at least one publisher they were sent to.
I see. That's great. There was something I remember when I was a kid. They were saying that some famous person had wallpapered their bathroom with rejection letters, and I thought that was kind of fun. I wanted to do that someday myself, but
I think that's not uncommon for writers.
yeah.
I think I read one time there's like 200 people in the country that make a full-time living from writing books.
I see. Out of 333 million or something. Yeah. Huh. Well, and then there's always.
Talking about where we're going to be. Where will you be this weekend?
Oh, I'll be at Tuscan Moon in beautiful downtown Kelowna, and the Tuscan Moon Grill on 5th, I guess it's called. But the Tuscan Moon is right next to the bakery down there. And I hope that it cools off enough so I can be on the patio. That's the plan. And Marcus, the mandolinist, will be with me for about an hour or so on Saturday night. Now, last week I misspoke, thinking I was in a hurry for the month to be over with, but
we weren't as close to the end of the month as you thought.
Yeah, but the end is near now, so
our life isn't going by quite as quickly as it sometimes seems.
Going pretty fast, like as a poet said. Time is a jet plane, it moves too fast. But what a shame that all we've shared can't last. I can change, I swear. Ah, see what you can do. I can make it through. You can make it too. Anyway, that's right. I was quoting Bob Dylan, the poet. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, but I will be with Marcus. Yeah, God willing, and the creek don't rise on Saturday night for a while. We've been rehearsing rather heavily. In fact, we got another rehearsal scheduled on Thursday for an hour. So I think that sounds pretty good. It's going choro music and some tangos and some other things. I've been finding this really interesting sort of 19th century South American music that's really nice to play, and beautiful stuff. And so we're going to play that mandolin and guitar duet. And I promise I won't talk like this, because I watch my show and I mostly just talk, because I'm busy with the guitar all the time, and there's nobody to talk to. I'm there alone in a little dark room with the air conditioner going full blast, and
some nights maybe we should call this Tom's Talk Show.
That's right. Well, there's a lot of talking. There's a lot of complaints, but hey, man, if you want to come down and hear me play, some people say. If
they'd rather hear you play, all they have to do, we've got a number on the bottom of the screen. Just call up and say so.
That's right. Yeah, I want to have me play something. But anyway, yeah, I'll be there with Marcus, and it's Tuscan Moon in Kelowna. I'll be there, just by myself on Friday night from 6:30, I suppose, to 9:30 or 10. Saturday night I'll be there the whole time. Marcus will be there probably earlier in the evening, sometime after 7 till sometime around 8 probably. And I would recommend that. I think it's really good music, and he does a good job, mandolinist. And I think I'm adequate as his accompanist. For some reason we gravitate toward that Brazilian stuff and that Argentine stuff, and I think actually the original. Whatever that famous tango was actually written by an Uruguayan, or was it Paraguayan? I don't know, one of the two. And so it wasn't actually even Argentine, but it's a small world after all. Yeah. And me, I'm from Iowa. So anyway. So yeah, okay. We got kind of a rough start here. I forgot my cable, the cable that connects the looper to the Digitech RP90 that makes all this kind of creamy sound, and you brought me. Hang on, pardon me while I step out of frame. And we had two of these this is a guitar cord, has a quarter-inch cable, quarter-inch ends on it. And we had two of these, but unfortunately, I think somebody borrowed them.
They've wandered off to some other guitar.
Yeah, somebody has them, and
anyway, our thanks to Tom up at Uptown Bills for that cord.
Yeah, he lent that to me, but after all we've done for him, we do. It's a small neighborhood after all. So let me see. I'm going to first thing I'm going to do is figure out where this thing is. That's what I want. I'm going to plug this in. Oh man, we got spaghetti all over the floor. I came late. I had a big plan actually to bring all kinds of crazy stuff, and I didn't do it. Okay, so I'm going to plug. Excuse me, everybody. Oh, never do that. Never ever do that. Okay, so this goes here. This is the input here. And this is going to go. I know what I'm doing. Seriously, a lot more cordage than I need. I'm going to put this in the output of this, which I just pulled out of there, but I'll find it again. All right. I'll put this in here. All right, here we go. Output here. And then this one, this live cable should not be lying there on the floor like that. It's going to go into here, into the mono input. Never do it. Never do that at home. And now I've got spaghetti all over the floor, but I think I'm okay.
Like like sign goes, "Po' boy don't need electronics to make his rock and roll."
Yeah, well, this boy needs his electronics. I don't, I almost just brought this one microphone and my banjo because I know people, I'm talking again, I'm sorry, but so what I wanted to do was I have this large keyboard amp. I have a 6-string bass guitar, which has never made it on the show. I've had a long issue with this 6-string bass. And I don't want to go into detail because it's really boring for an ordinary person, Excuse me, a normal person. For a normal person, it's very boring. But if you're a bass player, like I was talking to the guy in the guitar shop, Victor Wooten came through. I missed the show. I was, I couldn't make it. But Victor Wooten is like a big star of bass guitar. And so I just for fun, I asked people, have you ever heard of Victor Wooten? They say, no. If you're a bass player, like a serious bass player, you probably have a picture of Victor Wooten, at home. But I don't, but I have a picture of him in my mind. But, he's just a kind of a nerdy-looking black guy with his hair kind of braided back like this. But he's like an incredible bass guitar player. He plays with Bella Fleck and the Flecktones. He's a Flecktone. But like most people wouldn't care about bass players. In fact, very few people really care about guitar players anymore. They used to have these guitar gods or these guitar heroes. And of course, Guitar Hero became this kind of silly game that's kind of passé now, I guess, where you get a little plastic guitar and you push the buttons at the right time and then you get to be and then it has, Guitar Hero, but it has nothing to do with playing guitar. You can't translate that to actually playing guitar, And I'm wasting more time, but as an aside, I had a student, very intelligent fellow, who was actually at the College of Dentistry. He wanted to go into pediatric dentistry. And better him than me, that's for sure. But anyway, he'd been playing guitar since he was a kid, and somebody gave him Guitar Hero for, I think his parents gave it to him for Christmas or something, because they knew he liked guitars. And so he's playing it for a while, and he was talking to some guys at work about Guitar Hero, and then somebody said, why don't you just play a real guitar? And he thought about it for about 2 seconds, and then he sold his copy of Guitar Hero on eBay. See, he bought some more strings or something, but for his real guitar. But anyway, so I'm sorry, I got on this tangent. There used to be, though, there were these guitar heroes, right? These people who, Eric Clapton, of course, very famous. Jimi Hendrix, of course, was, the force of nature, they said. And then there are all these other ones, Eddie Van Halen and all these other people.
Or my generation, Dwayne Eddy and Chet Atkins.
Right. And so, but now, I asked around, everybody can think of a guitar player that they really, that they're a big fan of, or like a famous guitar star. And people mention the old ones, Eric Clapton. I say, well, yeah, but he's like, he's pushing 70 if he's not there already. And,
Probably most of that English Invasion bunch are around 70 now.
Right. Yeah. So.
And I have no idea whether this is true or not. But supposedly one time Jagger introduced Keith Richard as my guitar player.
Oh, I see.
And Keith Richard said, no, I play guitar with the Rolling Stones. You're my singer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you have to have a really big ego to be a rocker, though. That's the art form, actually. It's not the skill. Keith Richard is not that skillful a guitar player at all. Really, it's not that. Speaking as a low-rent guitar teacher, I've been teaching people how to play guitar like him for, Well, back in the old days, it was a back room at West Music. I teach 8th graders how to play like Keith Richard. Yeah, and it's not that hard. But having a personality like his and be able to handle that much drugs, that would be really hard to do.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's made it 70.
That's right. I could not do that. I just don't have the stamina. I'm right now I'm sober. Right now, I had an aspirin earlier for my heart. Try to.
Yes, I'm on that too.
Yeah, you do that too. And I had a cup of coffee as a stimulant. It was hours ago though. So anyway, sorry. I'm just. So yeah. So I think the thing about being a rock and roll star is you have to have a huge ego, and that's what's really important. And a lot of us just can't generate that much ego. But. I spend a lot of time with my Les Paul. I grabbed the DBZ. I have several guitars. The thing about having a lot of guitars, they're all a little different. I mean, the Les Paul and this DBZ have a lot in common, but there's some serious differences too, subtle differences. I don't know what to say. I don't really cause any harm, and if I fall down and die, my widow can go into the used guitar business. I'll keep her busy for a while. Hello, you're on Tom's Guitar Show.
Oh, hi, Tom.
Hey.
Just a second, I got to turn my TV down.
Yeah, it's a good idea. So,
Yeah, because of the delay.
yeah, you're going to get a weird echo when I'm just...
You were playing a Les Paul last week?
Yeah, I was. That's right. Last week I brought a Telecaster and a Les Paul. And,
You're kind of bitching about the strings?
yeah, I didn't like the strings were, I was overplaying it. I had like nines on it, I think.
Yeah.
And so I actually went home and put 11s on it. And I've...
I can't remember. You were saying, like, guitar abuse.
Well, string abuse. String abuse. I abuse strings. Yeah, I tear them up really bad. I hit them hard. I whack them. I slap them. I ping them with my fingernails. And I took them off. I put 11s on, and now it's a lot better. So.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Is that the high E or the low E?
The high E, the one up here.
Yeah.
This one has
my guitar out of my mom's basement and start playing again, maybe.
Well, I hope it's all right down there in the basement. Sometimes they don't like it down there very much. They don't like the humidity and stuff. And
yeah, it needs a little repair.
Yeah,
she has a dehumidifier.
Yeah, it's usually not a good place to keep them. I don't know.
No, I know. But
I actually only have one air-conditioned room in my house, and that's the room where I keep the guitars. And
your wife is letting you get away with it.
I offered to get another air conditioner, and put it upstairs. But I got like a 1.5-story house, and the upstairs is a bedroom and an office space, and so I would put one up there. I wouldn't mind it like at night, myself, because I sleep up there, But she didn't want one, so we haven't put one in. I mean, you can get a half-decent air conditioner for like $150. Even I could probably scrape that up after a week or two of, hustling.
Yeah. So was it you like the bigger strings on the Les Paul or the lighter gauge?
I like a heavier string on the Les Paul, evidently. The scale length is a little shorter on the Gibson than it is on the Fender. So the strings are a little looser, to get the, because what determines this, the sound, right? The pitch is how thick the string is, how dense the material of the string is, as in nylon is less dense than metal, how long it is and how tight it is. So gauge, if you have a heavier gauge, you can have a shorter string and have it still be as tight, is what I'm saying. So you can, hit it pretty hard. And so.
That thing you're wiping
Yeah.
has an incredible lacquer.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice guitar. It's used.
And what is it? I'm sorry.
It's a DBZ. It's Dean Zielinski. He used to have the Dean Guitar Company. The Dean has been around for a long time, 30 years or something, or more. I don't know how long they've been, but I remember Dean guitars back in the early '80s when I used to work for West Music. They had the heavy metal guitars, lightning shaped like lightning bolts and big V's, and they had women with very short shorts at the trade shows. They called Dean babies.
Ooh, like shorts.
Yeah, that was right. And and that was like the early '80s, and so I never paid him much mind. But I actually have a couple of Deans. But anyway, he sold his company, and so he started another smaller company that makes fancy guitars or whatever, like electric guitars, called DBZ.
Yeah.
Dean B. Zielinski. So his last name is Zielinski. So it's called a DBZ. I like to call it Zielinski because most times you call the guitar by the last name of the guy who built it or the person who built it. So the thing about this is it's really thin. See?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it's really heavy. I mean, for its thinness, it's very dense wood. So it's made of a lot of fancy woods and stuff. It's got this sort of laminated different layers of very heavy woods. It has a lot of sustain, and it makes it pretty good. I have it strung up like a jazz guitar, and so it's got these heavy duty flat wounds. So I'm very happy with it. I've had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
I guess
you seem to have trouble last week with your Les Paul. You were just not happy.
No, I wasn't happy with it.
The right strings. I'm doing guitar abuse.
Well, it wasn't guitar abuse. It was just string abuse. That's my problem. I'm not. I was talking about that. I was also talking about my being a meter violator in California, but that's another thing.
Oh yeah.
But no, I like the Les Paul. I just have to string it up with heavier strings, and the way I had it strung, I guess it was okay when I was just sort of noodling around with it at home. But once I started really playing it, it was like I thought about bringing it on this week, but I don't know. See, this week I was going to bring actually as a Dean bass. I have a 6-string bass guitar, and then I was going to bring but I had to bring the big amp because it's just too big. That low C string is just too low for the or the low B string, I guess, but it's just too low for the for like an ordinary amp. So I'd have to bring a big keyboard amp, and then I was going to bring another the Les Paul, and then I was going to bring a mixer.
It's too hot to work that hard.
Well, I didn't want to. That was my plan. About noon, I planned to bring all this stuff down here, and then as the day wore on, and it was hot, and I had to carry all this stuff.
Today felt cool.
Yeah.
There was a little breeze.
Little breeze.
And it was only 94.
Oh, that was
compared to yesterday.
Well, this morning was 94.
I passed out just running errands. My car couldn't cool down.
Yeah.
It was 106.
Yeah.
And heat index 110.
Yep.
And tomorrow's they're saying might be worse.
Really? I don't know. I go to I spend some time on the internets, the interwebs, and there's 3 different websites that I go to, weather places, the Wonderground, the weather.com, and there's another one. Sometimes I go to KCRG's channel, whatever, and 9, I guess, sorry, I'm going to mess with this, but one place would say it was going to be 94. The other place it was going to be 104. One temperature reading was not 100.
They were wrong.
Yeah, one was 103, and one said it was 110 or 108. Excuse me, depending on where it took. At the airport it was only 104 yesterday. But so I'm tired of it. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And ragbrise going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like 100
and the happy people on the local news was saying, "Oh, it's a great day for RAGBRAI. There was only one case of heat stroke and one heart attack."
Oh, that's pretty good then. Yeah.
Isn't it? I was like, thinking like they just, smiley face and everything's nice and we're local news and it was a great day for RAGBRAI. Yeah, I did 3 of them.
Yeah.
20 years ago, 20-some years ago, yeah. But I can't imagine just doing this heat.
No, but now they say it's going to be like 84 degrees is the high on Friday, which would be great.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go up to my mom's and do a bunch of work finally.
Yeah, well.
That I've been putting off because it's too hot. It's like going to be 84. Wow, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, so only 84, yeah. Well, my thing is on the weekends, I play outdoors at the Tuscan Moon, if I can. I mean, I'll play indoors, but indoors is better than not playing at all, but it's kind of noisy in there because it's the way the ceiling is and everybody's kind of cramped in there. Outdoors, I got a good sound, and people are happier outdoors unless it's like 104, and then they're not happy. They don't go outside. So I'm hoping this weekend I can be outdoors both Friday and Saturday night, like I was last week. Actually, I was outdoors last week, both Friday and Saturday nights. It's a little warm, but not too bad. You have to have a properly ventilated hat, though. I was wearing another one of my hats, and I noticed that if I adjusted the hat, then drops of sweat would come down, because there was a
that
seal.
happened to me yesterday. I wore the wrong hat.
Yeah.
And I was just tripping.
Yeah, you got to wear the right hat for the season. I wouldn't wear this hat. This hat is a Kangol tropical hat, and it's like it's made of a mesh, and it's fine. The air blows through it, and it's fine. It's if you wear like I wouldn't wear a felt hat, but of course I wouldn't wear this in the middle of the winter because my head would get cold, and I wouldn't want that either. So you got to have you got to have the right lid,
I
man.
used to have a wonderful straw. Well, not straw. What do you call them? The woven things. Maybe kind of. They're kind of woven.
Maybe I don't know. There's a mesh. They make them out of seagrass and things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a seagrass is a popular hat thing. They make fancy hats out of.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yeah.
And I had 2 of them, and I wore them out years ago.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, but there was a sweatband in it.
Well, they don't last forever. I mean, you got to get a new Panama hat every year if you're going to do the Panama thing. You can't really.
That's it. Yeah, like a Panama hat. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Guitarist's hat is important.
That's right. I figured that out years ago, because I used to play at the Sanctuary a lot, back, and then he never hired me again for but I used to play there.
You had the wrong hat?
I guess it was the wrong hat, but I used to wear cowboy boots because in those days I had lots of different socks, and it was kind of hard to get the same color socks, and so nobody could tell. It'd be my little secret that I had like a red sock and a blue one, and so the boots were important because the stage is kind of high. The front row would see your boots, and then of course your lid is important too because the spotlight comes down on you a certain way, and you want to have the right kind of hat. So, I mean, what's in between, I didn't really take that much care how I dressed. Maybe that's why I got fired. I don't know, but anyway.
Okay, back to guitar.
Okay, yeah.
A guy showed me Little Martha years and years ago.
Yeah.
And it was pretty easy to do, but I could never quite get the intro right with the harmonics.
Yeah,
Do you
I don't know it. I was just listening to it a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's E and it's basically E and A, and it slides up a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's mostly the finger pick.
I don't know it. If I heard it, I know it wasn't hard to do.
No, it's real easy. Yeah, because if I can do it,
Well, it's not that hard.
Any of your students can do it.
Well, I mean, a lot of people. It's the sort of thing. A lot of people, at least at a certain time in history, a lot of people learn that tune.
Yeah.
I just don't know it. I probably should learn it. I don't know.
Okay.
But
last point.
Okay.
Why does the apostrophe in your background look like a ping pong paddle with a cross?
Well, no, it's like it's actually like a tuning peg. It would be not unlike the tuning peg you'd have on a 5-string banjo for the 5th string.
Oh, that's a tuning peg.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a well, they have it like that on ukuleles. Sometimes the old ukuleles, and it's like a 5-string, like the 5th string tuning peg on a banjo for sure. I have one like that at home.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, your wife is great.
Yeah.
That's a great little accessory there. You know. I thought it was a ping pong paddle.
No, it's a.
All right. Time to go.
Well, thanks for calling. See you.
Sure.
Yeah. No, 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 no. So next week on the show, we're going to have a couple of guests, though, that are going to be... actually, what's happening is Uptown Bills is starting to encroach on Tom's Guitar Show because... there's a guy, I can't remember his name. Well, we'll all find out next week. He's going to come on. He plays electric cello, but he straps it on like a guitar. He doesn't have a cello background. He's like self-taught on the electric cello. A very interesting sort of fellow. He tours, and I don't know where he's living. He was on the show months ago. He was moving to Nebraska, and I guess he got tired of Nebraska. Evidently, it didn't take very long, and I guess he's going back east somewhere. But anyway, he's going to be on the show next week. And then there's a singer-songwriter who I've forgotten her name. I should have young Tom down here to explain it all to us. But she is a singer-songwriter, and she's going to open for this other fellow whose name I forgot. I'm no help at all, am I? But so they're both going to come on the show at different times toward the end. And
But the point is, there will be guest talent next week.
there will be some people. I'm going to jam with them. So I've got to remember this. Because I'm kind of busy, I'm kind of preoccupied with my own issues, and I'm going to have to remember to leave time for them to play, and also bring instrumentation so I can play along with them, jam along with them with something. So I happen to have a number of guitars and other things. So, and also I'd like to do a banjo show here pretty soon, and I teach these lessons and everything, and like a year or so ago I had maybe a half a dozen ukulele students and one banjo student, Banjo Dave, who's been on the program before. And also the Trek Fest highlights, Tom and the Tribbles is on, I don't know when they play them on the channel. They're on the website, patv.tv, on the blog. So I was watching that, and we were playing a Trek Fest. That was a pretty hot one. Wasn't as hot as it is these days, but we weren't ready, Man loses fear of hell. Anyway, but anyway, I was saying is last year, I had like half a dozen ukulele students and one banjo student. Now I only have one ukulele student, which is Donna, who's been on the show many times, and will again. That's right. I'll see if she can be on the show next week. But anyway, I have one ukulele student. I have about half a dozen banjo students. I have all these other banjo players who are coming up, and Yvette, who does frame, gave me the name and number of a banjo player from Cedar Rapids who's apparently very good. And I'm going to try to have him on this show. So I'm find myself gravitating. I mean, it's banjo time. See, it seems like for a couple of years in there, ukulele was like the thing to do. But now all of a sudden, banjo is becoming really popular, and more bands like alternative bands and whatever kind of bands are putting banjos in their lineup. So now me, I'm no Johnny Come Lately because I didn't start playing banjo till I was 16. A little late, start for me, because I could start the guitar when I was 10, the mandolin when I was 8. But anyway, so I'm ready. I'm ready for banjo. So one of my ideas, because I had this idea of bringing all this gear here, like the mixer and the big amp and the 6-string bass guitar and another guitar, and maybe something else like the electric mandolin, something I could make all big loops here on the show this week. And then I was kind of hot and I was getting kind of lazy, and then I ended up bringing this one guitar. And I changed my mind. That's why I didn't have the cable, because I was like really, in a hurry. And I said, oh, nuts to this. I'm just going to travel light. But anyway, so I guess I'm nattering on about one of my ideas, though, was to keep it really simple and bring just this one microphone and a banjo. And just, I should have done that. I noticed that with the chroma key, this microphone disappears unless I stand directly in front of it like this. And then you can see it sort of. But it just sort of disappears.
I notice the chords do that all the time. If the chord's in front of the chroma key, you can't see it, but if it's in front of you like your guitar, you can.
Right, so here we go. Here's a chord. And I'm going to step out of the way. See? You can't really see the chord. See? It's right here. I can see it. But then again, I'm real. And then I stand in front of it like this, and there we go. There it is. See? Anyway,
I suppose that explains how all those superheroes fly.
Yeah. Well, I think Superman would just lay on a green table or something.
Yeah, I saw that when George Reeves was Superman. Mm-hmm. The first time they had him up on cables, they dropped him, and he wouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. I wonder, yeah, I would, well, yeah. We could do that here. We just turn the camera sideways, and I just go like this, and then we could put a little fan so that my cape would blow. But I'm not doing that thing about wearing your underpants on the outside of your long johns. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not. I mean, I have a certain amount of dignity. And also, you know,
But if you got red underpants, you might as well show them off.
well, yeah. But see, the thing is, I teach and everything, and but I'm a quite harmless person, really. I mean, except when it comes to guitar strings. But I sometimes have to pass a background check, you know. And if you look at my record, you find nothing but like a speeding ticket and a bit of meter violation. I'm really very. If I were wearing if I were running around town with long red underwear and my underpants on the outside, I think I might it might go on my permanent record. So,
Well, as long as everything was covered, what would they charge you with?
well, the fashion police could come in. I remember though there was a guy at the mill years ago, and I think what happened was his they had a very sensitive waitress who was a very sensitive person, and I didn't know her well, but I'd seen her. I knew her slightly, and she was very sensitive. And this guy touched her, not that inappropriately, but you shouldn't touch your waitress, you know. And then he got in trouble for that. And the guy he was there with, the other guy, was wearing cut-off shorts and long red underwear. And it was in the winter, but he was wearing like, you know,
Right.
blue jean cut-off shorts, and you know, and some weird T-shirt and everything like that. And he was the one they were trying to reason with, and I was just, you know, kind of observing this and thinking that the reasonable one was the one with the cut-off shorts and the long johns. And I thought, well,
I got thinking about it here. Well, I remember probably 20 years ago now, some African student got busted up on the Ped Mall. He was wearing his clothes from back home, and the Iowa City cops thought he was out running around in his pajamas.
oh, I
But
see.
if you go up on the Ped Mall now, you'll probably see a dozen people running around in their pajamas.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was the fashion in when my son was in junior high. The girls wore pajamas to school. That was like, you know, flannel pajamas.
Yeah, I see people all over in them.
Yeah.
Not so much now since it's 90 degrees out, but
Yeah. Well, actually, I was at the Hy-Vee late one night, and some guy walked in wearing pajamas, a bathrobe, and slippers, and bought a bottle of liquor, and left. And I was just, you know, I know the Night Stalker guy. You know, we were just talking about this and that, you know, and there's, I suppose, you know,
like I said, as long as everything's covered up.
I suppose, yeah. Yeah, well. Yeah, Laura was saying that she was at the co-op, and she was wearing this little black lacy top, you know, kind of sleeveless tank top thing, lacy, not indecent, but, you know, feminine. But she's a woman, you know. And then there's
Oh,
this.
I heard that.
Yeah. Well, I married a woman. That's a preference. It's the way I roll. It's not, you know, it's not for everybody, but that's the way it is for me. So I'm not going to judge anybody else for their preference. Mine, I married a woman. But anyway, the guy ahead of her, who may have had a different preference actually, was wearing a very similar top himself, a lacy little top, and you know, he had dyed blonde hair and everything like that. And I guess he was very pretty. But that's what she told me. But I don't know. But I mean, what am I? I'm not the fashion police. Look at me. I look terrible, man. I need a shave, and you know, you could tell I didn't get enough sleep last night. We're talking about going to high definition. We'll see how I look then. Well, man, you look like you're burned out.
Well, since you're all dressed in black, maybe we can put you in front of the black curtain again.
Yeah.
You just be a head and arms out here playing the guitar.
Yeah. Well, I should wear long sleeves and turtleneck, and then have my hat down low. That would minimize the effect. I could just grow a beard, I suppose, and cover it all up. But I don't know.
I was up watching the Soul and Beef Days parade, and there was one float that had a bunch of people in those chroma key suits on it.
Uh-huh. Well,
There
that's,
was no chroma key since they were riding on a truck in a parade. But
yeah, I suppose. So they're wearing chartreuse. Yeah. Well, I could actually just wear the chroma key outfit, and then perhaps I could paint my face green too. And
I have a hoodie that color. I may have to wear in one of these times.
Maybe I should get a. Maybe I did a show with it. Where there was a space camp going to the moon. There was some fellows here, Josh Ecklow and Derek. I can't remember Derek's last name. Andy's at it. Yeah. I guess so.
The one that's one of the students up at SCTV.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek Andes.
Yeah. Well, they did a show, and they had ponchos like those inexpensive rain ponchos you can get, and they were running around with those with the chroma key. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I think one thing to do is just to wear a whole green suit and have everything covered except your head, and then put a little doll body on it, like a little hanging out into your chin or something. I don't know. I like those standards. The one I'm working on, though, well, I might as well just, since I don't remember the last part of it very well anyway, I know this song real well. So next week, Uptown Bills. Be there. Have a live audience. That's what we want.